Namaste. Welcome to the lecture series on the subject Basic Thermodynamics. This is lecture number 2 of module 2 in that part 1, work and heat. Okay, in this lecture number 2 of module 2, so we'll be discussing various types of work transfer, then free expansion with zero work transfer and heat transfer. So in the lecture 1, we derived the expressions for the displacement work in various thermodynamic process, that is isobaric process, isochoric process, isothermal process and polytropic process. Now let us discuss few points connected to polytropic process. And this polytropic process is considered as general process because the formula or the PV relationship for the polytropic process is PV to the power n is equal to C. So this is already discussed. Let me write that PV to the power n is equal to C. Okay. Now, why it is called as general process? Because this represents all processes. How? If n is equal to 0, if n is 0 here, then it is v to the power 0, it becomes 1. So 1 into p is p, so it becomes p is equal to c, which is called as constant pressure process. Suppose if you substitute n is equal to infinity here n is equal to infinity, then v to the power infinity becomes a huge quantity and it becomes constant and you can neglect p. So then it becomes a v is equal to constant, which is called as constant volume process. You see, v to the power infinity is a huge volume which is always a constant. Then if n is equal to 1 here, if you substitute n is equal to 1, then it becomes PV is equal to C, then it represents hyperbolic process. And all these processes you can represent on a single PV diagram. You see, single PV diagram starting from a common point. That is very, very important. So you have to draw a common point here. So if n is equal to 0, constant pressure process. So that is this line, constant pressure process 1 to 2. If n is equal to infinity, constant volume process, then this is a n is equal to infinity, constant volume, vertical line, because it is a PV diagram, vertical line. Then in between 0 and infinity, so you have the lines for n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2 and so on. So this is how you have to represent all these processes on a single PV diagram. So that is why this PV to the power n is equal to C is regarded as the general process, because by varying the value of n, we will be able to get all other processes. Now, if the system comprises of an ideal gas, then we have the PVT relationship as P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. This is for a process 1 to 2 between states 1 and 2. So state 1 P1 V1 by T1 will be equal to the property values PVT at state 2, that is P2 V2 by T2. And using this we get equations T2 by T1 is equal to P2 by P1 to the power n minus 1 by n, and T2 by T1 is equal to V1 by V2 to the power n minus 1. For this you have to use the polytropic relationship P1 V1 to the power n is equal to P2 V2 to the power n, and also you have to make use of this equation. You see, by using this equation, that is P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2, and P1 V1 is equal P1 V1 to the power n is equal to P2 V2 to the power n, you will get these two relationships. I'll just give you an idea how to do that. So here from this expression, first write what is T2 by T1 in terms of pressure and volume. So you can write an expression for T2 by T1. So T2 by T1 you can get it as P2 V2 by P1 V1. Now use the polytropic relationship P1 V1 to the power n is equal to P2 V to the power n. Once you substitute for P2 by P1 in terms of volume, you will get this formula. Then next substitute for V2 by V1 in terms of pressure ratios, then you will get this relationship. So I am not going to derive that, you try yourself. So first express this equation, that is P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2 in the form of T2 by T1. Then P2 by P1 and V2 by V1. So you have to substitute from P1 V1 to the power n is equal to P2 V to the power n. From that you would get the relation P2 by P1, one expression in terms of volume, then V2 by V1 expression in terms of pressure, substitute separately, and you will get these two equations. So this is how, even if you are not able to remember this temperature pressure and temperature volume relationship for polytropic process, you can derive it within 1 minute in the whenever it is required. Okay. Now for an ideal gas, P2 V2 is equal to mRT2 and P1 V1 is equal to mRT1, and we have polytropic work for an ideal gas as W1 to 2 is equal to mRT2 minus mR into T2 minus T1 divided by 1 minus n. That means actually what we derived here was P2 V2 minus P1 V1 by 1 minus n. Now in place of P2 V2, so you can substitute mR T2 and P1 V1 as mR T1. So mR you can take common outside. So inside the bracket you get T2 minus T1 divided by 1 minus n. So this is for the ideal gas. Now coming to the various types of work transfer. So let us discuss the shaft work first. So when a shaft taken as a system, you can see the figure below. So here shaft is considered as a system. You can see a shaft is rotating at a speed n. Is rotated by a motor. So there is work transfer into the system. As you discussed in the lecture 1, the thermodynamic definition of work says, if the sole effect external to the system could be reduced to the raising of a weight, so then we say that there is work transfer. So here this shaft can rotate a pulley which can raise a weight. So even though motor is driving this shaft, so to prove that there is work transfer, you can assume that a pulley connected to or fixed to this shaft which can raise a weight. So thereby you can prove that there is some work transfer. So how do we find out that work transfer? So if T is the torque applied and d theta is the angular displacement of the shaft, then shaft work is given by W is equal to integration from 1 to 2 T into d theta, and the shaft power, now shaft power is 1 to 2 integration of d theta by d tau, which is nothing but T into omega. So this is how you have to find out the work transfer in case of the shaft work. Now coming to the electrical work, when a current flows through a resistor taken as a system, you can see here in the diagram. So this resistor is considered as a system here, resistor. Okay, there is work transfer into the system. This is because the current can drive a motor and motor can drive a pulley. So here whatever the current flowing through this resistor, so we are saying that there is some work transfer, right? Work transfer into this resistor is nothing but work transfer into the system. That is because the current is flowing through the resistor which can drive a motor, and motor can drive a pulley, and pulley can raise the weight. So this is how you have to link between the electrical energy and the work transfer. Now the current flowing through the resistor is I, ampere, which is given by I is equal to dC by d tau, rate of change of the flow of the charge. Okay. Now where C is the charge in coulombs and tau is the time in seconds, thus dC is the charge crossing the boundary during time d tau. And if E is the voltage potential, then work done is equal to E into dC. So dC is nothing but I into d tau. So if you want W, so you have to integrate this expression between the limits 1 and 2. So W is equal to 1 to integration of 1 to 2 ei d tau. And if you want electrical power, then you have to take the limit as d tau tends to 0 of dw by d tau, which will be equal to ei. So work is different, power is different. So in the previous shaft work also, first we wrote the expression for work, then we wrote the expression for the power. So power is nothing but rate of doing work, so it has to be divided by the time. So that is why this d tau is coming to picture in the denominator in this expression, because that is a rate, to find the rate and to find the power. Okay. Next is the paddle wheel work or steering work. As the weight is lowered and the paddle wheel turns, there is work transfer into the system. So here you can see here, so there is a closed system with a adiabatic wall. So there is a paddle wheel mounted, which is driven by a shaft connected to a motor. Now you know that this shaft, if it is attached with a pulley, and if some weight is attached and if it is allowed to lower, so then also this fan or the stirrer can rotate. So by this we can prove that so there is work transfer whenever the paddle wheel rotates inside a system. So we consider it as work transfer into the fluid system, which gets stirred, because stirring work, that is the work transfer into the system. Now here, if you observe this closed vessel, so it is a control mass. So here there is no rigid vessel also, so there is no change in volume also. So integration of dv is equal to 0. Now if m is the mass of weight lowered through a distance dz, so you know that if a mass is lowered or raised to a certain height, so the energy or the work transfer is given by mgh. So here h is nothing but dz. So same work is transferred into the system, this system, through the steering work. So that is given by t into d theta, because it is converted to shaft work. Whatever the work involved in raising or the lowering the weight can be written in terms of shaft work, because it rotates the shaft here, because this is shaft you can see here. So shaft work is nothing but t into d theta. So therefore you can write dw is equal to t into d theta. And the work transfer, if you want to find out total work, so you have to integrate this. So that is nothing but integration of 1 to 2 dw into w dash into dz, that is integration 1 to 2 t into d theta. Okay, where w dash is the weight lowered. So this is how we find the work transfer involved in a steering work or the paddle wheel work. Then free expansion with zero work transfer. So free expansion. So here you can consider this chamber here, right? So it is an insulated chamber, you can see, right? So insulation hatching is provided along the boundary to indicate, and the system is represented by the dotted line inside. So that is a boundary, right? Now there is a partition here, you can see the partition, and one side there is gas and other side there is vacuum. Now, so you have to remove this vacuum. When you remove this, you have to remove this partition, so then the gas in the left chamber enters into the right chamber and there is some expansion takes place. So which is called as free expansion. But here, if you neglect the work involved in removing the partition, so then there is no other work involved, hence it is called as free expansion with zero work transfer. So here what happens is, when the gas is in the left chamber here, this part, so this is in the state 1. When the partition is removed and when it is filled with the entire chamber throughout here, so then it moves to state 2. So here you can find out what is the state 1 and what is the state 2, but you cannot find out what are the state points between 1 and 2. That means this is not a quasi-equilibrium process. So here, though there is a volume change, there is no work transfer. Suppose if you want the intermediate state points between 1 and 2, so what you have to do is you have to use multiple partitions with a small gap between them, and you have to remove each partition one at a time so that you can get the equilibrium points, number of equilibrium points between state 1 and 2. Okay. The explanation is given in the next slide here. So you have to consider a gas separated from vacuum by partition. Partition to be removed. The gas rushes to fill the entire volume. Expansion of gas against volume is called as against vacuum is called free expansion. If work associated with the removal of partition is neglected, and if the gas and vacuum together considered as a system, so there is no work transfer involved. See, that is what is given here in the explanation. So there is no work transfer involved. So that is what W is equal to 0. If only gas is taken as a system and the partition is removed, there is no change in volume of the gas, and one is tempted to calculate the work from the expression. However, this is not a quasi-static process. If you take only the gas as the system, right? So when the partition is removed, there is change in volume. So you may be tempted to calculate because P dV, volume change is there. So you may think that there is work, right? But since it is not a quasi-static process, only the initial and final states are in equilibrium, so you cannot find out or calculate work, and this type of process is shown by the dotted line on the PV diagram. So this is about the free expansion with work transfer. Now, if a system is involving with multiple work interactions, then how to find out the net work done by the system? So often different systems form, say work transfer occurs simultaneously. So simultaneously there may be work transfer in multiple forms. Then all these work interactions have to be evaluated, and then you have to find out the total or the net work done by the system. For that you have to add up all the work transfers involved with the system. So W total is equal to W displacement. If there is a displacement of the piston change in volume, so then you have to calculate W displacement. If there is some electrical work transfer into or out of the system, then you have to use the term W electrical, similarly stirring. So all these terms here, some of them may be positive or some of them may be negative. If the final answer of W total, if you get it as positive, so then you have to say that work is done by the system, whereas if you get W total as the negative, so then you have to think that work is done on the system. So that is how you have to understand. So W displacement, electrical, stirring, some of them may be positive or some of them may be negative also, depending upon whether the work is done by the system or on the system. Then coming to heat transfer, heat is defined as the form of energy that is transferred across a boundary by virtue of the temperature difference. So this is already you studied earlier. Heat is defined as the form of energy that is transferred. So energy in transition is called as the heat, which will cross or which has the ability to cross the boundary of a system mainly because of the temperature difference. So temperature difference is must for the heat to flow from one place to another or to cross the boundary of the system. So there are different modes of heat transfer. You might have come across this in the physics or in some other subjects also. The transfer of heat between two bodies in direct contact is called as conduction. Suppose if you take up a pen, so heat transfer from this end to this end is also conduction. Suppose if I connect another solid body to this, so heat, if this is hot body and this finger is cold body, so there will be heat transfer from the hot body to the cold body because there is again exists temperature difference. So this is also the conduction. So heat transfer of transfer of heat between two bodies in direct contact. This is mainly because of the molecules being energized and they are giving energy to the neighboring molecule which has less energy, and this process continues until all the molecules throughout get the same energy level. Next is the radiation. This takes place between two bodies separated by a empty space or gas. and the mechanism is called as the radiation. This is taking place through the electromagnetic waves. So the heat energy what we receive on the Earth's surface from the sun is by means of electromagnetic waves and is called as the radiation. The third method of heat transfer is convection, which refers to the transfer of heat between a wall and a fluid system in motion. So here, if the heat transfer between is wall or any surface and another fluid in motion, so that is called as the convection. Now, suppose if you take the example of a hot coffee, cup of hot coffee, if you keep it on the table in a room, so after some time you see that the cold coffee, hot coffee getting colder, means it becomes, its temperature becomes equal to that of the room temperature. So now if you see observe the surface of this coffee, you can see there is some smoke like it's moving from the surface. That's actually the air molecules very close proximity of the surface of the coffee. So they get heated up first and then they move up, and that place is replaced by the cold air from the surroundings, and that they also get heated up and they move up. So this process continues. That is what is the fluid in motion, right? So molecules are in continuous movement. If I give another best example, all of you might have seen how the boiling of water takes place. Water boils. Now you take a vessel and keep cold water in the stove and switch on fire, and after some time you can see that water molecules from the bottom surface of the vessel are coming up. That is because the water molecules at the bottom of the vessel, so they are, since they are in direct contact with the part which is contact with the fire, so they get heated up first, so they starts moving upwards, and that place is replaced by the cold water from the top. They move down. So continuously these water molecules which get heated up, they move up, and cold water moves down, and when it's during the boiling, you can see continuous movement of this water. So this heat transfer, because of the movement of the molecules or the fluid in motion, is called as the convection. Okay, now coming to the sign convention, the direction of heat transfer is taken from the high temperature system to the low temperature system. So that all of you know. So heat transfer always takes place in the direction of the temperature gradient, that is from high temperature to the low temperature. So as a sign convention, as you studied earlier, heat flow into the system is taken as positive, whereas heat flow out of the system is taken as negative. So you can see the figure here. So heat transfer into the system is marked as positive, whereas heat transfer out of the system is marked as negative. So heat is a form of energy in transit. Few of the characteristics of this heat we are studying here. So energy in transition, okay, it occurs only at the boundary of the system. Remember this, heat transfer takes place only at the boundary of the system, because that is what it is capable of crossing the boundary. Energy transfer by virtue of temperature difference only is called heat transfer. All other forms of energy interactions may be termed as work transfer. If energy transfer other than heat transfer, so then we call it as work transfer. Heat, like work, is not a property of the system. So you know that heat is a path function, it is not a point function. A process in which no heat crosses the boundary of the system is called as adiabatic process. So you studied two types of walls. One is diathermal wall and one is adiabatic wall. So diathermal wall is the one which allows the heat to flow through this wall, and adiabatic wall doesn't allow heat to pass through the wall. So if the system has a boundary which is made up of adiabatic wall, so then there is no heat transfer between the system and the surroundings. So any process without heat transfer, so it is called as the adiabatic process. So here only work interaction takes place between the system and the surroundings. Okay, with this we conclude the lecture number 2 of this module 2, and we'll continue further the module 2 in the lecture number 3. Thank you.